Hi, this is William from Great Affordable Watches, and in this video I'm gonna compare a $300 watch versus a $3,000 watch. But before we get into today's video, I wanna do a quick wristwatch check. And today I'm wearing my new to me Omega Seamaster with the 285 movement. And if you guys wanna see a video on this watch, please let me know down in the comment section. But now, let's get right into the video. Okay, here in front of me I have the Tudor BB58 and the very famous Seiko SKX013. And generally these two watches are known for offering great value for your money in their respective price range. So today I thought I'd compare the SKX013 versus the BB58. The SKX013 can be had for around $200 to $300 depending on your location, and here in Sweden it goes for closer to $300. And the Tudor BB58 can be had for around $3,500 on the bracelet, and if I'm not mistaken around $3,200 on the leather strap. So basically it's a $300 watch versus a $3,000 watch. And we can first go through some specifications, and later on we can go through what makes the SKX a $300 watch and what makes the Tudor BB a $3,000 watch. But let's start with some basic specs first. If you have seen some of my previous videos, you know that I absolutely love the SKX013 and the 00709. And I think the SKX is one of the absolute best bang for your buck and one of the best value for money watches you can buy. And of course there are some downsides to this watch that we're gonna go into that makes it a $300 watch. But overall I believe this watch is one of the best watches you can buy in this price range. It is water resistant down to 200 meters and it's actually ISO certified, so this watch is tested to meet the ISO standards. So this is a true diver's watch, and it got the Seiko 7S26 movement, which lacks both hacking and hand winding. But spec wise, or I should say accuracy wise, it's very close to the newer Seiko 4R36 or NH35 movement. But what makes this watch special for its price range is, in my opinion, the original looks. This look is very famous these days, and the Seiko SKX lineup looks very unique in some ways, and I absolutely love this look, very toolish look, and yeah, I just love the look of this watch. But the highlight for me is the general build quality and the finishing you get for your money. There have been some problems with the quality control, like the bezel or the chapter ring not aligning, but other than that I think the quality is excellent on this watch and Seiko in general. And the finishing, especially on the case, is a true highlight for me with this watch. I think the brushing is really nicely done, and the chamfer together with the polished sides look really nice. And I've owned a lot of watches in this price range, but I think it's hard to beat this watch when it comes to case finishing. But as I said, the drawbacks is that the movement is not the greatest, it's not the prettiest either. It's a reliable workhorse movement, but when it comes to the movement you certainly get what you pay for. But the movement is known for being extremely reliable, and it will most likely run for at least a decade without servicing. But with that said, it's not particularly accurate. Okay, let's move on to the Tudor BB, and this is one of my absolute favorite watches of all time, and I believe this is one of the best value for money watches at around $3,000. The Tudor BB58 was released at Baselworld 2018, and ever since it has been a lot of talk about this watch because it kept all the great things about the very popular previous Tudor BB, but with a smaller and a lot thinner case thanks to the new movement. And this watch is regarded as one of the best value for money watches at around $3,000, and I can really agree with that statement because if you compare this watch to similar watches and even Rolex Submariner, this watch offers a lot of value for your money. You get great specs for the price, and most importantly, the finishing done on this watch is excellent in my opinion. The polishing and the brushing on this watch is extremely well made. The chamfer here as well is just amazing. The quality and finish on this watch, as I said, is just superb. The same can be said about the bracelet. I believe the bracelet is really nicely done with the middle clasp, of course, and this watch offers almost Rolex quality and finishing, but for a much lower price. That's of course a bit controversial. The Rolex is of course better when it comes to some things, which I won't go into in this video, but generally this watch offers a really high quality for the money. Tudor throughout its history has pretty much only used ETA movements. They have never done an in-house movement until the previous generation of Tudor BB. And this movement is of course chronometer certified, and it got 70 hours of power reserve, 2800 beats per hour, and all the great specs. And the design of this movement, which is more or less identical to the previous generation but smaller and thinner, I think it's pretty impressive what Tudor has done with this watch. And they also says that this watch is 100% Swiss made. All the parts are sourced from within Switzerland, which is really nice to see. So is this watch worth almost 10 times more money than the SKX? Of course that's highly subjective, and typically the value for your money doesn't really scale with the price, and I do think that the Tudor is worth the price they are asking for in regards to similar watches in the price range. But does it offer 10 times the watch? That's debatable. I think the Seiko is an excellent watch, and the finishing and the quality on the Seiko is of course, in my opinion, really nicely done. The Tudor is, if you have it in your hand, you notice that the quality and finishing is a lot better. The brushing, for example, and the polishing work is made of a higher standard, and also the fit and finish of the bracelet, if you compare it to the bracelet on this watch, the Jubilee bracelet, I don't have it, but this bracelet is miles better. This one is in a different league compared to the Jubilee on the Seiko. The Seiko also got an in-house movement, which is great to see, but the movement in the Tudor, the in-house movement from Tudor, is done to a higher standard with tighter tolerances and all that, and most likely with higher grade materials. And to design a movement like this is of course very hard, and also it costs a lot of money. So one of the great things about the Tudor BB is of course that when they switched from a ETA to a in-house movement, the price bump wasn't that huge. It was just a few $100s, I believe $300 or something like that. So that's also great to see. And as I said, Tudor says that this watch is, or the movement in this watch is 100% made in Switzerland. And of course, labor cost in Switzerland is much higher than labor costs in China. And to source parts from Switzerland is also a lot more expensive. So I believe a big chunk of the money comes from the fact that this watch is 100% made in Switzerland. And when you're producing a watch to tighter tolerances or tighter standards, that also costs a lot of money. The better the tolerances, of course, the higher the price, and you need to have very good machines, and all the labor costs for producing parts to that standard, to this standard, is of course very expensive. So yeah, all in all, I think that both watches offers incredible value for money in the respective price range. So all in all, is the Tudor worth 10 times as much as the Seiko? Both yes and no. I mean, as I said, the value or the quality doesn't really scale with price, but of course you do get a excellent watch and a lot of value for your money if we compare the Tudor to similar watches in the same price range. The Seiko is of course a very well made watch with a pretty boring movement, if I can say so myself, and the quality and finishing is of course not as good as on the Tudor. Both of these watches offers one of the best value for your money in the respective price range. The Tudor is obviously the better built watch with higher tolerances and just finished better overall. But that's also to be expected from a 10 times more expensive watch. But I must admit that the Seiko, with the great finishing on the case, do hold up pretty well against the Tudor. But now I have been talking long enough, so let me know what you think. Do you think the Tudor is worth 10 times more than the Seiko? Or you think $3,000 is just too much to pay for a watch, and that the better finish and quality is just not worth it over a $300 watch like this Seiko? Okay, thanks for watching, and I hope I see you in the next one. Bye.